It's good to sing about what we believe, isn't it? To declare it. Just as a way of introduction, before Jenny comes to read the scriptures for us, I'd just like to ask a question. And that question is, how valuable is life? Now, I know that sounds like a philosophical question, but when one asks it, there are a whole load of practical ramifications of how that question might work out and should work out in life. When we look around us and look at the world, at one end of the spectrum we see some religious people that teach that all life is sacred and that all life, humans, animals and insects, are of great value. Some religious individuals will try and live their lives without killing anything, even mosquitoes. But at the other end of the spectrum, there are those that have such extreme views that they almost consider that human life has no value at all. They think some people's lives are so worthless they'll think nothing of killing people, even innocent people who don't share their religious worldview. Terrorists who just blow up or shoot innocent people to make their point, to get their publicity. So just how valuable is a human life? And maybe we should throw in the mix, how valuable is an animal life? It seems to me that in the UK today there's an awful lot of confusion about these issues. There doesn't seem to be any consensus. Let me just illustrate a few points. The majority of people in this country believe in abortion. And apparently about half of those same people would also say they believe in the right to terminate life when people are very sick, elderly or near death. In fact, over 20% of the UK population currently believe in euthanasia, and they should be 20% believe it should be allowed for old people who are, quote, tired of living. In Europe, if you go there in places like Holland, Switzerland and Belgium, that percentage now stands at over 80% of people who share that view. Now, interestingly, amongst those very same people, when surveyed and asked, they would say that they also don't believe governments or anyone else should have the right to execute criminals. Now, let me be clear, as a Christian, I personally do not believe in capital punishment, and I believe that I can argue that position conclusively from the teaching of the New Testament. The point I'm making here is just about the confusion and the mixed messages that are flying around when we discuss the question of what is the value of a life. I think it's really interesting that many people would argue for the right to euthanize elderly or sick people, and at the same time they would be against capital punishment. I find that logically confusing. It seems confusing to me to advocate for the killing of innocent people, but then be strongly against the killing of those who have been found guilty of a serious crime like murder. Do you see the confusion here? Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not arguing for the death penalty. I'm just saying that this subject needs to be thought through, because it has profound practical, religious, and even political and ethical ramifications. To add to the confusion, if you speak to many, many young people today, they will advocate vociferously for the right for abortion and euthanasia, yet advocate at the same time for animal rights and be strongly against the killing of animals. It seems to me that for some today in the UK, it's okay to kill Grandma Daisy if she's feeling tired and weary, but it's not okay to kill Daisy the cow that's grazing in the field behind her house. This and other scenarios demonstrate how confusing this issue has become for everyone today. Another example, today in a hospital in the UK, a premature baby can be born at 24 weeks, and the hospital will battle with all its rights and all its resources and all its expertise to help that baby survive. And in the same hospital, in another corridor, or perhaps in another room, another baby of 24 weeks will be being terminated. It's confusing, isn't it? So I say this subject, I believe it needs to be approached biblically. What is the value of a human life? What is the value of an animal life? Is all life sacred? You could argue, if you just approach it from a logical point of view, that you shouldn't kill anything, because then at least there's a consistency in the opinion. Should all killing be considered wrong? And if not, how do we make a distinction? How do you make a distinction, and where do you draw the line when you ask the question, how valuable is life? Well, thankfully for us, God clarifies those questions for us. And he does so at a time when he's just saved a boat full of people. And that's what I want to look at this morning and help us get some clarity, to help us think through this subject and find some of the keys that will help us navigate this difficult, confused world that we live in. So what does the Bible say about the value of a life? Well, let's find out together as Jenny reads the opening of part of Genesis chapter 8. Chapter 9.